Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's day three of the Talk to the Camera challenge. Today, I'm just gonna take a short walk around my yard and talk to you guys about my hobbies and some of my interests. First and foremost, I guess my main hobby is playing basketball. Um, to be honest, I haven't really played in a while just because of family things and New Year's and Christmas and all that. But I am planning, the weather is nice, to go back out there and play some pickup basketball. I have been playing since I'm in my younger days, but it's mostly been on and off depending on where I study and if I'm even allowed to go play at times. So, um, yeah, I think I started out in primary school. Like most sports around me that I'm interested in, I was influenced to play basketball by my two older brothers. And I guess compared to the other sports that I did play, I'm much more versed with basketball. Uh, I'm much more skilled in basketball compared to the rest. I mean, I can still play other sports, but I'm not as good as it. My skills aren't as good as with my basketball skills. So yeah, I usually just play pickup ball, and I don't really have much experience with any type of competitive games or tournaments. I have joined a few tournaments, but mostly only as a bench warmer. So it's pretty clear that my skills are definitely not up there among the best. But I guess it's also because of the lack of experience that I have since I did play on and off. And when you get into a sport or you want to get into a sport, you should definitely start at a younger age. And again, like I mentioned, even though I started at a younger age, I it was still on and off, and I didn't get a chance to even represent my primary school and all that. So, yeah, in growing up, my favorite player is Allen Iverson. But as I got older, I kind of shifted towards liking Kobe more, late great Kobe Bryant. And I guess it's just how he inspires me to like adapt my game based on my age, just like how he actually tried to adapt his game, how he evolved from being like a very explosive dunker into someone who is very meticulous in the mid range. So, yeah, I guess that's my story about basketball and how I personally am involved in basketball. I guess the other hobby or interest that I have is photography. Well, to be honest, photography is a bit specific because honestly, I'm more interested in making content um, that is more personal to me, that is. But photography is the main type of content that I prefer because I still do videos. I mm, maybe I dabble in art, but I don't really publish it. Well, technically, photography and videography is an art form, I guess. But anyway, going back on topic. So photography. I the the youngest that I remember of really liking photography, or at least starting to like get a glimpse of like, hey, maybe this is what I can do, or this is the type of hobby that's really interesting. Is when I was 14 and we had like a class party, and at home we had a Canon Digicam. I just brought that Digicam to the party and just took some random photos. But there was this one specific photo that I took that really like piqued my interest, I guess. It was a picture of a water bottle, and I took it like at a Dutch angle from a very low angle. So that weird angle actually made me think that, wow, photography isn't just about um, capturing people or capturing, how should I say this? It's not just about capturing people during moments. It can also be something that is art related, you know? And after that, even though I had that realization, I didn't really think about it that much. Like, I didn't think I would be into photography because as I grew up, sorry, my son is on looking at me from the house. Anyway, so as I grew up, I know I kind of remembered, not distinctly, but there were, I guess, phases that I like taking pictures no matter what the subjects are, no matter who they are. So I guess it was instilled in me that photography is something that I might be very interested in because it didn't dawn on me even during my university days where we had to select clubs, and I just joined the photography club just because I didn't have any other clubs to join and all my friends were there. And technically, that is the easiest club to join. So I didn't even give full effort at the end of the day for that club. But funnily enough, when I dropped out and before joining, before enrolling in the media course, I kind of dabbled into wedding photography as an assistant photographer just for a few jobs, just to see what it's all about. And although the wedding photography thing didn't quite work out, but photography kind of stuck to me. I became conscious that I like taking pictures and I like capturing moments. But of course, with every beginner, I mean, I took very cliche shots as a beginner. And it's really obvious that I just started just trying to experiment with things. And honestly, I didn't really like the shots that I took because I couldn't convey the thoughts into taking or capturing the image because I didn't understand the concept behind really learning about photography, really learning the settings, how to get a type of shot, what angle to do, the lighting setup and all that. And over the years after learning about it, trying or at least trying to learn about it in college because we did have a class for photography. And after starting work, it took me like 3 or 4 years to finally understand how I could actually improve. And at this moment, I'm not gonna say that my pictures are really, really good and they are the best out there. But I can at least say that I'm really pleased with what I can capture, as now at least I can convey my thoughts into my photography. Not sure if you guys understand it. It's like if you have an idea for a picture you want to take, and then you instantly know what settings or what angles you need to take. That's what I'm pleased with, because most of the times, like 80-90% of the times, I can actually do that. I know what settings to use, I know what methods to use, how to use the lighting, how to use the flash and all that. And it's not always a hit 100% of the time, but even with those misses, the hits just feel better. The hits just feel good when you do, or when I did capture the pictures that I want to take. And again, it doesn't really matter what gear I use, as long as I get what I have pictured in my mind. I'm really, really satisfied. I can really go on with photography and all the philosophies, all the concepts that I hold close to my heart, but I guess they'll be for another video, because I do have some more interest that I want to talk to you guys about. And speaking of which, it's collecting. So I used to collect sneakers. Or technically, I still am collecting diecast cars. And I also used to collect cameras, digicams, all the film cameras and all that. And sometimes I do collect tech stuff, but honestly, the collecting has decreased over the years. And I'm sure those of you who collect know why, because most things are getting more expensive these days, and I'd rather spend the money on my responsibilities and food for my family and all that, compared to um, buying things that would just sit around in my collection. And I have sold most of my sneakers. I have sold some of my diecast cars. Most of my cameras have been sold. And I'm not going to say that I've totally lost interest in collecting, but just with the economy and all, I think I've taken a hiatus in doing so. And yeah, it's not that collecting, how should I say this? I didn't start collecting because I wanted to resell the items, because honestly, that never really crossed my mind. Even when I sold my parts of my collection, I actually sold them at market price or even lower, because at the time I just needed the money and I just needed to clear things out of my house. And also, I didn't want the people who have the same interests as me, but encountering the same issues, like things are getting too expensive, to be like saddened by it. And especially those who are just coming into those hobbies, I understand that you if you can't really afford things, sometimes it's just not fun and you stop liking the hobby. And I've gone so close to that situation, and it's not a really good feeling to have. So I don't want to I don't want to perpetuate that in the community. Because for me, collecting isn't just having the items in my possession. It's about learning the history of it, having nostalgia for the items, and actually feeding or satisfying my curiosity. Because I'm always curious on how things actually work, how the sneakers actually feel on feet, and that's sorry, and that's one of the reasons that I started the channel. To be honest, because I was curious. I was curious how sneakers would feel. I was curious how they would play like with all with all the tech that's implemented in sneakers these days. And creating the channel was kind of like my excuse of buying those, because of course you don't need those items. I don't personally need those items, but because of that curiosity, I made the channel as an excuse to actually own those items. And yet, nostalgia does play a part in it, especially with diecast cars, because I've always liked cars, and at least collecting Hot Wheels or Matchbox or Tomica cars, I can satisfy that. I can satisfy that nostalgia for me. As for sneakers, I like learning about their history and all that. And regarding how they feel to play, I've even wore I've even worn old pair of Converses to pick up basketball games just to feel how they would play like. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to share for today. Hmm. Let me think if I have anything left on my mind to talk to you guys about. I guess that's it. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.